Right. I think we can begin the session. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to our session, Tech Startups Grow with Experts. So there will be, I think, still some people coming, so you can just ignore that when they are in. Yeah, welcome to our session. What will happen here in this session? So growing with experts, what does it mean? My name is Adam. I'm head of digitalization innovation technology at Swissman. And today we would like to show you on an example how grow with experts look like. So why are we doing that? The thing is that having a tech startup doesn't mean that you only have to challenge tech topics. It means a lot of more challenges that you have to face. For that reason, we would like to show you how this works. And this should be an active session. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And this is what we will do. So maybe what we will show you now is that we have a startup in our community. He will introduce himself. And we have the experts in the room, but also online, that will give you an example on how this community works. So please enjoy the show. And if you have any questions, let me know. Then I would like to start. And first of all, I would like to introduce Valentin from Atlas VR. And Valentin, please introduce.
So, hi, I'm Valentin from Atlas VR. And what we do is we turn real-world industrial workflows into fully immersive VR trainings. So this means you can train your employees in a flight simulator type of environment for any industrial task. And the best thing of it all, it's also compliant with SUVA, DGUV in Germany, or OSHA in the US. So you also don't have to worry about the compliance of your processes or of what you're training. Our unfair advantage is that we can do that not in months or years, but rather weeks. So it takes a few weeks until you get these trainings for your employees. And now this might sound very abstract, so let me give you a quick example of how that looks like for a specific case. So in today's industrial manufacturing sites, you would usually find these cranes that need to be operated, for example, carrying raw materials or product through an industrial manufacturing site. And if you're a new operator or a new employee to work in such an environment, you usually have to have a course. This is mandatory in order to be compliant and not hurt yourself or anyone else while operating this piece of equipment. What happens in reality? You're hired and you have to wait for a few months until you get that course and until you're allowed to touch the crane. However, in the best case, you're waiting for these few months. In the not so good case, you might need to because day-to-day life is not going as planned in factories. You might need to still touch the crane or maybe do just a few things here and there, and everyone will be very relieved and happy when nothing happened. Or in the worst case, you will have a crash and there's a huge insurance and liability case. And now let me show a video of how we are approaching that at Atlas VR and how we enable employees to train from day one, for example, on an industrial crane, and be able and allowed to do that or operate this crane from the first day when they start working onwards. And in the end, the system simulates the entire crane. So it's not only a step-by-step training or a procedure that you're learning, but you're operating a fully simulated crane along with its physics. And the best thing for us, the system decides if you're ready to go for the real crane. So it's not a decision of a trainer, because we interviewed a lot of trainers when developing this, and some said, yeah, you should do the final parkour in like 2 minutes. The others said, no, 3 or 4 minutes. So there's a lot of also variance in what a trainer thinks works best. And therefore, we believe that this is even a safer training than in the reality. So and now, having looked at this piece of technology, it might look simple at the front, but in the back, behind the scenes, there's a lot of things happening that we have to consider and that we might not always consider as much as we would like to as a startup, because priority is on clients and on fundraising, and therefore we have, just to give you an example, we have a hardware component with lithium-ion batteries in there. We collect usage data and user data. We want to ship this to the US, to the European Union. So we have a lot of things going on that we have to consider. However, we feel like we don't have the resources to go for all of this, just like very specifically. And that's why we're part of Swissmem. And I would directly start with our first question, which I already mentioned, is like we are now close to go to the European Union with our product, and we are not really aware of what that means. And therefore, I would like to ask you, Adam, what do we need to do if we go to the European Union with our product?
Yeah, perfect, Valentin. So this is a very clear question and very, very often asked. So we have a product, we have technology here in Switzerland developed, and we would like to expand in our markets, especially in the European Union. For that reason, I would like to call my first expert, Ann-Kathrin, she's online at the moment. So Ann-Kathrin, what can you recommend to Valentin?
Hey, Valentin. So first of all, congratulations to this very cool product idea and to his startup. And fingers crossed that everything goes well in the European Union. But I assume that during the usage of your product, a lot of data will be generated. And in the EU, maybe you read in the news, there's the Data Act, which comes full into play in September this year. And with that, you would need to, as a company operating in the EU, give the users data access, even by design. So they have to have free of charge, very easy access to the data that they generate. Luckily, I don't know, you're still a small enterprise. And that means in case you have less than 10 employees.
Yeah.
Is there any resonance?
We hear you.
Fine.
Ann-Kathrin, all good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have less than 2 million revenue right now, then you're free of those obligations. But you have at the same time the right that you can be a third party that asks for access to data generated by your competing product, while you're not allowed to develop a copy kind of these products. You're still allowed to think about what this data tells you. Maybe you want to even offer services based on the data that you can find from those other companies, or see what they do better or maybe worse. So you can learn a lot by that, and you have the right to ask for that data. And I assume you might be also using AI to some extent. And then also cybersecurity will be a topic. And I think for that, we would need to go through the different EU regulations about digitalization. And I think for that, we might need to have a separate call, maybe for like 30 minutes. And then we can really go through the different obligations that your product maybe has to comply with.
Perfect, Ann-Kathrin. Thanks a lot. So you see deep insight, deep knowledge in the technology, in the regulation, and this is what Valentin now knows. And we can go all day long into the details. Thank you for that, Ann-Kathrin. Let's go further. What kind of question you might have?
So what is also getting more and more a priority of our clients, and we feel like this would also apply to us, is that the whole environmental topic. So our technology, and that's why it's also the interest by our clients is there, saves usually real world training, and this is also a benefit for the environment. However, we as a company also, I assume, have to care about the environment. And what do we need to consider?
Yes, exactly. Environmental and sustainability is a huge topic as well for all the companies, especially working in the European Union. So for this topic, we have Christina Roth. Chris, she's online as well. Chris, can you tell us what needs to be done in this topic?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the question. Yes, well, your product, your physical product, on the one hand, will have to be checked whether chemicals regulation gives any, obligation. Chemicals regulation is basically valid for all products and processes, and so certain chemicals, hazardous chemicals, are not allowed in products, and that will also apply to your product. And also some information obligation might come into play, where you have to inform your customer about certain chemicals that are present in the product. So there would be we would have to look at your product, we would have to look at what is actually there and where would be the most probable case where you could have certain obligations, and that's what we are here for, also to support our members with this. On the other hand, your hardware is obviously an electronic device, so several environmental regulations are specifically addressing electric and electronic devices, and so there are, for example, limits to hazardous substances in electric and electronic devices, or there are certain obligations regarding the end of life when your product becomes waste, where there are responsibilities for the producer. So these also would have to be met through the producer, and that is also what we are here for, to support. Actually, another case could be even, or would have to be evaluated, because your product seems to have prolonged contact with skin. So that's a very specific aspect where we would have to check whether additional health aspects would also come into play. So yes, and with these informations on specific obligations, we are supporting our members.
Super. Thanks, Chris, for these insights. Let's go on, Valentin.
So, regarding legal matters, I think this is something where you just hope, particularly when you're early stage, that everything just will go well, because you're not prepared at all. And I have to say, until today, I'm happy and lucky that we never had a legal dispute with any of our clients so far, and everything worked well. However, I think we can really improve on that end, and I feel like we're not perfectly positioned regarding legal matters.
That's where we help as well, because as we know that startups don't have their own legal division. So for that topic, we have Doris Antjennen. She's also on the call. Doris.
Yes, good morning, Valentin, dear audience. First of all, congratulations on being a highly promising member of Swissmem. But as you know, having great technology is just the beginning and not the end. Ensuring legal security and clear contractual frameworks is a key to transforming potential in a sustainable success. So let's focus on what we can do from a legal perspective, and where we can support you on for the legal topics you may concern with it. As you consider expanding your VR solutions in Switzerland or abroad, navigating regulatory landscapes becomes crucial. Swissmem offers guidance on contractual law, IP, intellectual property laws, and export controls. All of that are given the potential application of VR in various industries. But we offer also comprehensive contract and templates, including NDA, non-disclosure agreements, general terms and conditions of supply, and for the procurement also, helping you as a startup establish secure partnerships and mitigate legal risks. And as I already said, intellectual property protection is particularly crucial for you as an innovative startup. We provide advisory services and trademark registration, patent filing, design protection to safeguard your unique technology and brand identity. Additionally, we have a clear expertise on the machinery directive and other regulations, ensuring that your products meet the necessary safety standards. And furthermore, some of my colleagues specialize in labor law, offering you essential guidance on employment agreements, as maybe you have already employees and not only the clients with the employees, We have a collective employment agreement elaborated with the labor unions in Switzerland. And as a legal counsel, I have witnessed firsthand how businesses are facing growing challenges in the complex field with export controls and sanctions. With this geopolitical landscape right now, with its shifting regulation and compliance requirements, demand constant focus and adaptation from companies engaged in international trade. So in conclusion, we are there to helping you, also from a legal perspective, to turn your technology potential into market success with the right legal framework. Thank you.
Perfect, Doris. Thanks a lot. So legally saved.
So apart from the legal part, a big topic for us is regulations, particularly safety regulations, because we have to make sure that our procedures or the procedures that are trained on our technology are compliant. And as I heard, there can be, or I assume, or I hope, there could be even an option to contribute there, because in the end we have a very detailed understanding through what we are doing regarding norms, and therefore we would also be very interested in contributing there.
Exactly. So standards and norms are very crucial. Some of you are maybe not aware of that. And imagine you develop something and then you are not aware of a standard coming along to this technology. You're out in the market and something is not possible anymore. For that reason, we don't have Doris, sorry for that, but we have Marcel, that was my mistake. He's our expert in standardization.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Yeah, congratulations for your startup. It's very interesting. Yeah, you have a lot of contacts with some international standards, not only cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, but also those cranes. Those cranes, they have a lot of harmonized standards because they are under machinery regulations, and to be that your product receives a presumption of conformity, that you can bring the product into the market. Yeah, you can follow these standards. These standards are not hindering it's not hindering for you. They are like a step holder for you. And yeah, therefore you really should consider those standards. They are relevant for your project. If it's a crane or something else, another device, you are developing your VR. And yeah, if you are not satisfied with the standard, you have the chance to influence the standard. There are always new projects in line, and every standard will be revised every 5 years. So you have the chance to bring in your new ideas and the latest state of the technology. SNV is operating the machinery sector on behalf of Swissmem. So if you have any questions regarding standards, when you don't know which standards I have to apply, then just contact SNV and we will provide you with the relevant information. Thank you.
Perfect, Marcel. Thanks a lot. So standards are not sexy, but important. Yes.
So, and after having carefully studied this, the standards and the norms, I think what makes our business in the end take off or fail is that we have the right partners and the right connections and the right network in place that helps us to succeed and that helps us to also open the doors where we need to. And yeah, where can Swissmem help me with this?
So Swissmem, if you might know, we have almost 1,500 member companies, tech companies. Those are all, or most of them, spin-offs that are maybe 80, 100 years old. For that reason, we have a large network, and for this, we have 3 experts here in the room. So I would start with Andreas. Andreas is our president from our R&D committee and very well connected. And
thank you very much, Adam. So I'm not part of Swissmem, but together with Adam, we are running the research committee of Swissmem, and this is an excellent network. I'm running also my own startup as one of my topics. And the challenge you may face is that you have to focus on where you are really best at. And when it comes to R&D, my learning is that you should not do what you're not best at. You should tap at the network to get support, to really get fast to what you need and focus on where you really want to make a difference. But it can be quite confusing. You hear all these contractors like the Zülkes, the Helblings, you name it. You have InnoSwiss, you have Eurostars, you have tons of things, and you might want to have an independent opinion because all of them will tell you we are the best, we can do it, we are experts. So in the SwissMem, we are running this research committee, which is about a dozen or even more, like 15 plus people coming from different industries, typically CTOs. They have a lot of knowledge on R&D. They know all these different ways, how to interact, how to get knowledge, how to network. And of course, we discuss several times a year in this community the latest topics, what are the ways how to innovate, what other people are there, what opportunities are, what you can tap off also as a startup. And so we can offer that service to you guys. So if you need an independent opinion, that's important, not approach directly one or the other approach, and being stuck with that, you can tap into the SwissMem research committee and get an independent advice that may fit you well for what needs you have.
Perfect. Thank you, Andreas. And then we have also a direct connection to our so-called industrial sectors. So in industrial sectors, we have the head of industrial sectors who can tell us.
Thank you very much, Adam. SwissMem is running 25 industry sectors. So these are networks. We bring companies, we bring decision makers together to grow. And I think one of your issues is the market access. And this firsthand in Switzerland to these almost 1,500 companies. We connect you with these decision makers. But this is one hand. The other hand, if you need access to foreign countries, we run or we maintain the network to the embassies, to the Swiss business hubs. And if you need their support, we support you as well. Very much appreciated.
So exactly. So the direct C-level connection is important here in this. And if it goes more specific into digitalization, what it is actually, so we have a different community, which is the head of this community is Philip.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Philip. I'm the head of Next Industries, which is a knowledge transfer event platform. And our goal is to actually connect or bring together the solution providers, the consultants, with the industry. And the goal is actually to accelerate the digital transformation within the industry. So the opportunity for startups like you have, Valentin, is to join this community, to present the solution you have, and also to attend. We have different opportunities like Circle of Practices, which are small communities, 30 people or something. And then we have a specific topics we are going for. And this would be a good chance either to get some knowledge, either to how to say, I forget the word. No, it's a good opportunity to know a lot of other people in this area. And I think, you know us already. You had the opportunity to make a session at our industry forum, which takes place next Thursday, maybe if you have time. It's around 300 people from the industry, and there we have like different topics, how to bring in the people in this digital transformation, what are the trends, the technologies, and so what are the use cases and so on. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect, Philip. So now, all in all, Valentin, you feel informed? You feel supported?
Yes, I can say, like also as you pointed out, Philip, we are really using the services that Swissmem offers us. We're using the platform, and we're really getting good connection and also like very necessary advice when you have limited resources and you have to focus on your product and your clients. Then yeah, we are really valuing this opportunity to be part of Swissmem, definitely.
Yeah. Now, you see, so we are in the end of our session, and what is important, maybe one key message in this topic is that you see that it's not only about the technology behind this startup, it's a lot of different topics that can come across that could make you an issue, something that you maybe did not think of. And for us, it is important, and we see the following case. You cannot be the person knowing everything, the legal, the regulation, standardization, and the network behind it. So we are there for you. And if you have any questions, if you want to try it out, please approach us. And I think you saw how well prepared our experts are in this field. So I would close the session from our part, and I would open up the Q&A session if there are any direct questions.
Thank you. My name is Bastian Wiedmeier. I'm a professor for business and engineering at the BFH. I was formerly heading the strategy, M&A, and corporate venturing department of a big tool manufacturer in Switzerland. So I know the Swissmem quite well in that part, and I was one of the forums as well involved. My question concerns more the funding, so smart money funding. What are your recommendations on smart money funding? What are the, borderlines to that? How is your network fostering corporate venture units of big companies like ABB? How do you position yourself in, advising young companies for smart money investments? Thank you.
Thank you for this very good and important questions. And one thing is that Swissmem does not do is giving money. That's very important, but we give everything else. That means also in this case, within the network, we have opportunities to bring you to those people that might be interested, that might be in the specific area, that would love to invest in you. But I would like also to give this word to Andreas, who is also very much into this topic.
Yes, currently I'm running my own startup, and I have exactly the same question. I was formerly in a larger corporation being the CTO, and we had corporate investments, so I see it from all sides. I'm also chairman of a larger industrial group in Switzerland where we do smart money as well. And the question, of course, you have is what is the right time for what kind of money? And what we can offer at Swissmem, there is a broad, this community, I mentioned this R&D community. I think we are C-level R&D people, we know how difficult first it is, but also what are different ways. For example, smart money when it comes from a corporate has pros and cons. Is it too early? You probably don't want to have started with smart money necessarily because you are already in one certain corner, so to speak. You may want to start with grants because you don't dilute your equity. So try to go for all it takes for InnoSwiss, for Eurostars, for accelerators, for all that. The network, just to keep it short, I think has experience for all different aspects from smart money, corporate ventures, but also VC connectivities, but also then all the different tools and vehicles from InnoSwiss and all sorts.
Yes, any other questions? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Claire Wenger, VC at Swisscom Ventures. Question to the legal advice. So is it more that you're giving like templates, let's say the terms and conditions, NDAs, etc., or can startups actually, like, let's say we invest, right? We need to, when we invest in a startup, we are making this shareholders agreement, investment agreements, and startups spend a lot of money, obviously, for their legal advice. Is this something that Swissmem would offer to like review those and support the startups, or is it more like this kind of templates of some documents that like everyone needs?
Yeah. So Doris, we switched to the call, and Doris is still there.
Yes, yes. Thank you for the interesting question. So it would be boring only to have this template to give the companies. So we like and we do offering that we check contracts and especially some almost on all the steps during the contract law, the supply chain there, where we are not so involved is like the question before with the money and where we can with loan agreements or such questions. But of course, we are there, and you can bring us your contract. We reviewed the contract. Sometimes only one or two specific questions. Sometimes when we have more time, the whole contract. It depends a little bit, but we are there also. What we cannot do as an attorney at law within Swissmem, we cannot support the member companies before the court. But normally it ends. Anybody is interested to go to the court, so it's okay.
So maybe. So maybe an experience which I think we even recently have here is that we have our shareholder agreement, which was basically more or less a standard type of agreement when we had our first investor, and now we're currently in due diligence with a next investor as part of our current round. And actually, this is where Swissmem can help us really well, because now we have maybe a clause that they want to get into our shareholder agreement, or we have a clause in our shareholder agreement where we don't exactly understand what are our possibilities, then yeah, this is where the help is really fast and straightforward.
And my second question is, I mean, that's actually super valuable. So what does it cost the startup to be part of Swissmem?
It's 500 for the first.
For the first 5 years, 500 a year.
Per year.
And you can ask Doris as many questions as she.
That sounds too good to be true.
Yeah. So this is But no. We will say maybe stop after everyday talks. But no, this is not limited, or this is not extra. You don't have to pay extra for those kind of question support. Any other questions? No? Okay, so we will be still here for you. So if you want to approach us, want to ask something, we're here for you. And yeah, enjoy the day. Thank you very much.